All right, I am going to start out. And can everybody see the grading rubric page on your screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. Because a couple people have emailed me, and asked me questions. Material design is one of those things we could probably teach a whole course on it if you haven't figured that out already. All right. And if you say, I really don't have time to even go through this, then just go online and, for example, all right. One of the things I'm still working on it, believe it or not, I'm still working on that advanced resume app. I've got it to the point now where it runs, but it doesn't give me it gives me no errors, and it also gives me no output, which isn't a good thing. So I keep going back. I've got some copies of 5-year-old code, which I've had to totally rewrite, and some other stuff that I'm doing myself. So I'm hoping to get it. I want to give that out there to you. But what I did in there, did I do material design? Yes and no. And what I mean by that is I went into the colors.xml file and reset a bunch of the colors. All right. That's one thing that you can do. One thing you shouldn't be doing, as an example, is you should not be putting a bunch of stuff in where you are constantly saying this is 12DP or this is 12SP. If you've got different settings that you're putting in a project for sizes of controls, etc., you should either look and see if you've got a DIMENS, a dimens.xml file, and put stuff in there, or create your own. So what I'm looking for is, I don't want this to be just a bland looking type of thing. Now, what isn't material design? It's not just changing the background color of your form. Well, I did that, now I got material design. No. It's everything working in unison with one another. In other words, the font is supposed to look good. The font color should look good on the background color. The font style should look good on the background. All right. As an example, I know this is real simplistic, but if I was doing a program for kids, I probably wouldn't use a cursive font, that kind of thing. So what I am looking for when you look in here is I'm just looking, I'd like you to change the font, because basically every single app that we've created this semester in one way or another on your screen probably looks not the same, but it looks very similar in nature. So I'd like you to look at fonts. I'd like you to look at colors. All right. And see if, change your background color or whatever, or do different things in different colors. All right. Your text might be one color. Your background might be another color. You might have an error page or something that comes up that's yet another color, something like that. Now, people had asked me, and I know I had given you some resources, and I'm going to just, on the email today, there's a couple more. So I just want to show you a couple things that are out there. Now, that said, I'm going to flip back and forth a little bit. Some people learn by seeing stuff on a piece of paper or on a computer screen. They don't necessarily learn by watching videos, etc. They just need to see some stuff. So this is from the material.io /collection/developer tutorials. And you'll notice there are some for Java. There's 4 or 5 of them. 5 of them? Okay. Now, would I expect you to go through all 5 of these? No, they're not real long, but still. You might want to look at this first one. It's not very big. Java 101 Material Basics, learning the basics of using material components to Android by building a simple app with core components in Java. So if you go out there and you look at it, that may help you. They show you what you're going to build in there. They run through the entire thing with you. All right. Does that mean it'll totally make sense after that? No, not necessarily. But it's a place you can go to start. All right. Now, other people, I'm going to stop my run and start my run again immediately. But other people learn by watching other people talk or other people demonstrate or whatever. This right here, and again, you were given all of these URLs. This is a material design component thing from the Android Developers Summit. Now it's a couple of years old, year and a half, something like, I guess it's over 2 years old. All right, or a year and a half to 2 years old. But it's 30 minutes. I started watching this yesterday, and it's not bad. All right. One of the guys who talks is a little hinky, but that's not even the point. And they go through some examples, they go through some stuff in there. All right. So that's another thing you can look at if you're interested. Now, the next couple might not have made a lot of sense to you. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Now, this is a Udemy course that's entitled The Complete Android Bootcamp Material Design UI UX. I don't expect you to go out and buy anything. All right. But if you go out there and you preview the course, I'm actually taking a course online with this guy right now. His name is Paulo Dishon. And he's got a bunch of lectures that he puts in there so you can see what's going on. And they're not long lectures, but he's got a 11.5-minute long introduction to UI UX material design, then a 3-minute long lecture on Android material design intro, then some stuff on Android views and view groups, and there's some other stuff in here. So there's probably about 7 to 10 lectures in here that are free that you can look at. All right. I also found another course online, and it's called the Complete Android Material Course. All right. And you'll notice it, again, last updated about a year ago, but the same kind of thing. You don't have to buy it. I mean, this has got 100-some lectures in it, and so does the other one. But it's got a preview section, and in the preview, they've got Material Design Hello World app, designing a user interface of an app, Material Theming Part 1, Material Theming Part 2. I by no means claim to be an expert on anything. It's interesting. I started to watch this one yesterday, and this was the intro to the course. And he tells you the name of the course and his name. And he says, and I am an expert in Java and Android, which almost turned me off, because I don't think most people are an expert in anything, including me. But that said, all right, I mean, I started to listen to it, and it appeared to be decent. I'm not going to say it was great. I'm not going to say it was terrible. All right. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is, again, I'm going to go back again to the test. If you've got questions on something, please ask. I know that a couple people have actually turned this in already, and a couple of people have said, I'm struggling with this, I'm trying to get homework done, etc. I understand that. Since this is a long weekend, you can have until the end of class on Monday to get this in if you want to or need to. Same thing with the Unit 5 labs that are due today. If you need to turn them in on Monday, then turn them in on Monday. All right. I'm pretty much caught up with grading. There's a couple people, you know who you are, who've sent me things in the last day or two. No, I have not done those. All right. We are in the C# class, in case you care. We are in the database section right now. And it's really something to try to teach people how to do database queries when they can see my screen, but I can't see theirs. And they're like, why am I getting this? So they're constantly sending me screenshots when something doesn't work. I'm trying to debug it and then get back. The point is, I'm spending a lot of time that I maybe don't have, I don't know, doing things that I would rather not be doing. All right. But again, and I know I went over this yesterday, if you look at the bottom, it says here, professional looking fonts, professional looking colors, / material design. That means that as far as I'm concerned, if you have a professional looking font, you've met that part of this. If you've got professional looking colors, you've met this part of this. If you say, I don't have the time nor the desire to look at material design, then don't. All right. And I'm not saying anybody has said that. I'm just saying if that is the way you feel, I understand. All right. There is, people, everybody's going through their own set of stuff in this virus outbreak. And I've had some people contact me and say how their work schedule has been affected. They lost their job, or they lost their job and now they got a new job, etc. And stuff happens. All right. So my hope is that I laid these things out well enough in here that you can tell where the points are, you can tell how to get the points, etc. And, again, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. There are 2 or 3 of you in here that continually don't put stuff in your strings.xml file. And the only way that I can do this, when you think about it, that's 20 out of 400 points. 2 out of 40, 1 out of 20. That's 5% of your test right there. All right, is just being able to do that. That doesn't mean if all I'm looking for is, again, I want to make sure that when I look into your strings.xml file, it's not just a line or 2 long where it has the name of your app in there. It shouldn't be that way. All right. And again, you may have very little in there, but at a minimum, again, the text for your buttons, all right, any labels you have, etc. All right. Well-written toast. Again, we've talked about this before. Notice that's 50 points. That's 12% of your test. That means that if you've got a bad month or an out-of-range month, it should say that. It should say out-of-range month entered. Something like month must be between 1 and 12, or however you want to do it. There are so many different ways that you can do this program. All right. Let's see. And I don't know, I'm hoping that just going over that did, I'm not going to say that if people had fears over something or whatever, that's going to totally squelch them or whatever. But, the idea today was to go over, give you a couple more resources in addition to the ones I gave you earlier. I've watched a boatload of stuff on material design, and I'm not kidding you. There's a lot more, pardon my French, there's a lot more crap out there than there is stuff worth looking at. All right. And it's just the way it is. All right. And some of the stuff that I've looked at that's actually not bad is 6 years old. All right. It was written in 2014. So I'm out there and I try to implement some of it, and some of the stuff isn't even supported anymore. Some of the rest of the stuff has to be changed so much. And that's, again, I'm not asking for anybody to feel sorry for me. But like I said, trying to do this extended app, I'm working with some code that I have that's 5+ years old. It was done in 2014 and published in 2015. All right. I've already had to rewrite a lot of it, and I really want it to work. And again, I said this before, but the reason I want it to work is I want each and every one of you, this may be one of your last assignments of the year, to update, change my resume to make it your resume, have it be your colors, etc. That's what this test that you're taking now was supposed to be. Well, I can't hand that out when mine doesn't work. All right. But I'd still like to fix mine so that you are able to use it. That way, again, I've had students who have graduated in the last couple of years who are texting me saying they've lost their jobs. And could I give them some help as far as getting another job? Well, what I recommended to them was the same thing I recommended to you, and that is that you email that Ms. Mueller from K-Force, Peter Kreshak from Tech Systems, etc. And you try to have a running dialogue with them. If you have not yet asked them to connect with you on LinkedIn, you should be doing that. All right. But my hope is I can get that to work and you guys can go and upgrade your resumes because I'm going to give you the code, but it's for my resume. So you're going to have to rip out all my stuff and put in your stuff. But my hope is by doing that, and then hopefully we'll all be able to publish it to our copies out to the App Store, that's going to make you that much more viable as far as trying to get a job. Now, if you said to me, well, what if the person that I'm dealing with has an iPhone? Well, then, you have to tell them that, they can always download it on a tablet. All right. Well, I have an iPad. All right. Well, you can probably download it on like a MacBook or something. I'm sure there's some kind of software that you can use for that. Again, I'm just rambling, but I just wanted you to know that. Now, I'm willing to answer any questions that anybody has. Those of you who have emailed me in the last couple days and have said, what about this? What about this? If I have not answered your questions, please ask. And if there are no more questions, you know what you're supposed to be doing. On Monday of next week, I plan on talking about shared preferences and a few other things from Unit 9. I'd like us to be able to write some kind of an app with shared preferences. I don't know what it is yet because I haven't written it. But I'm hoping to be able to do that this weekend. So I'll lecture for a bit and then we will write an app as a class. I will ask that not only do you write this app with me as a class, but that you turn it in. We'll do all the code together. We'll write the interface together. But I want to do that because I want to make sure you've at least been exposed to using shared preferences. Then the next week, the following week, which I think is like the 20th, we're going to do the same kind of thing. If you don't know this, when you work with databases in Android, there's at least 3 different ways that you can do it. One is you can use SQLite, which is built in to Android. That's one way. That's what our handout is about, so that's what I'm going to use. All right. There is also Firebase, which is another way that you can do this. All right. And there's also something that's called Room, like a room in a house, that goes over and above and on top of SQLite. Right? I don't consider myself an expert in any of this stuff, but I've written a little bit in SQLite. So I'm going to lecture on that a week from Monday on the 20th. All right. And we will do a program as a class. So it might be that, whatever you've got left for programs, we just do them as a class. I'm looking right now at probably not even giving you another test after this one. We will see. I have to go and try to get a hold of Mr. Smith and see how he's doing it, because we're supposed to be as much in lockstep as we can possibly be. All right. And then 2 weeks from Monday, which is the 27th, my hope is by then I've got, no later than that, I've got that advanced resume app done and submitted to all of you, but I want to take mine and attempt to upload it to the App Store, and I want to tape that so you can watch everything that I'm doing. When you are doing your project, your final project, X number of points, I don't know what X is, are going to be, is it up and running on the App Store? But I think if you've got 2 apps up on the App Store, one being your resume and one being your final project, that's going to do nothing but help you in your quest after you get out of here to get a job. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. All right, sure wouldn't be the first time. Now, does anyone have any questions? Please don't be shy. If you've emailed me in the last couple days and you asked me different things, what are you looking for on here? What are you looking for on here, etc. If I didn't answer your question, all right, you can ask now, or if you'd rather, once people drop off, you can email me. All right, either way is fine. Again, if there are no questions, then have a nice 3-day weekend. And again, your Unit 5 homework and the hot that you're taking right now, this Zodiac hot, are due no later than hopefully Monday. All right, the hot for sure, but no later than Monday at the end of class. That's it from me. Again, have a nice weekend.